Hello, my dear student. Today we are going to learn about Class 8 Science Chapter 8, that is Cell. In this chapter we learn about the cell and its functions and what are the components present in the cell. Okay, so let's start with the cell. Cell is basically the structural and functional unit of life. Structural and functional unit of life. It's a structural and functional unit of life. Definitely this statement said that structural unit of life means the cell is helping to form this whole structure of an organism, and it performs all the life activity functions which are required to run required to run a life. Okay, that's why we are calling it a unit of life. Unit. Definitely the single cell is having the ability to perform all the life activity functions and to establish or to develop an organism. That's why it is being called as structural and functional unit of life. Now let's study about the discovery of cell. So cell is discovered by Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke was a scientist. Robert Hooke was a scientist who discovered the cell in first time in the bark of the trees and the cork cell of the bark. Okay, and in that the scientist has found this cork-like that cell structure in cork cell in 1665. And that is the cork, how the structure of that cork was looking like. So he has found that it was just looking like as a hexagonal structure which is found in this arrangement of these hexagonal structure found in honeycomb. Okay, so the arrangement of these blocks. These blocks are getting arranged together and they are forming the particular structure like honeycomb structure. Same way our body cells, like the cells, are also arranging together and they are forming the whole organism body. So when cells are grouped together, they are going to form the tissues. When tissues are grouped together, they are forming the organ. And when organs are grouped together, they are forming organ system. Means organism body. Organism body means finally the cells are dividing into the numbers and they are forming the group of cells called as tissues. These tissues are grouped together to form organs. These organs are grouped together to form organ system. But now, student, this kind of system, this kind of thing going to be happen in the organism, which our organisms are categorized into two categories that we talk about. So they are two types of, either they are multicellular and unicellular. Unicellular organism and multicellular organism. So unicellular organism, the organism which are having the single cell. So definitely the organism, those who are having the single cell structure, whole life activity functions are performed by a single cell or by a cell. That is called as unicellular organism. And multicellular organisms are having many or n number of cells present in it. Many cells are present. Many cells are there in the organism. So in this multicellular organism, this kind of arrangement, you can find that the single cell is going to be divided into the numbers, and then it is forming tissues, then they are forming organs, and then through the organ system. Now let's learn about the cell theory. So the cell theory state that cell theory, definitely scientist has given the cell theory. In this cell theory, you will come to know about what kind of thoughts were there in the scientist. So this, like Sheldon and Swan was a scientist who has given this theory, and they said that all living organisms are composed of cells, and all living organisms are composed by the cells and the products of cell. Means definitely the cell is going to divide into the numbers, and then the whole organisms are going to be formed. So cell is only helping to form an organism body. So this was the cell theory state that, and all cells arises from the pre-existing cells. Means this cell, if this cell is also there, so this cell was developed how? Due to the pre-existing cells available. Means पहले से ही जो organism या पहले से ही जो cells present हैं, उन्हीं से नई cells का formation हो रहा है. So understood by everyone. So this was the cell theory state that. If we talk about the variations of the cell, so definitely variations are there. I have already discussed about the variation. If single cell is present there, that is called as unicellular organism. If many cells are present there, that is called as multicellular organism. Now, what are the differences between this unicellular and multicellular organism? So the first difference is what? Definitely unicellular organisms are made up of by one single cell. Multicellular organisms are made up of by many cells. Fine. Now one cell carry out all the function. Here this is having only one cell. It is having many cells. Second function is that all functions, all functions are performed by single cell, and here the functions are performed by many cells, or else we can say that by the tissues, by organs, by organ system. Okay, unicellular organisms do not show levels of organization. Levels of organization, as you all know that levels of organization means definitely the cells are dividing into the numbers and they are forming the tissues. Tissues are grouped together to form organs. Organs are forming organ system. So in this, they have formed a particular level of organization. Definitely, in multicellular organism, we are having, just like we are having the respiratory system, we are having digestive system. So all these system helps, and they are working individually. They are having their own individual functions to perform. So likewise, single cellular organism is performing all these functions together and by one single cell only. There is nothing. There are no other system present in their body. The single cell is only performing those functions. So unicellular does not have that kind of level of organization, but if we talk about multicellular organisms, so they have the levels of that one organization. Now, if we talk about example of unicellular, so definitely amoeba is an organism Here it is human, or else we can say that other organisms too. Fine. So student understood about all these things. Now we discuss about the size of the cell. So here the size of the cells are also different types. If we talk about the size of the cell is also different. If we talk about the largest cell in the world, if we talk about, so that is ostrich. It is having ostrich egg of ostrich is basically having 170 mm to 130 mm, 170 by 130 structure it is having. If we talk about the other cell, if we talk largest or longest cell in our body, that is neuron cells. Okay, here ostrich cells is having, and neuron cells are the longest cells of our body, or nerve cells also we are calling them. Then the smallest cells in our body, that is RBCs. RBCs, everyone knows that about it. RBC, red blood cells. These are the smallest cells in our body. If we talk about the smallest cells in the world, smallest cells in the world, that is PPLO. That is pneumonia like organism. So these organisms are very small one. They are 0.1 mu to 0.5 mu. Their size is there. Okay, 0.1 mu to 0.5 mu is their size. So student, I think you understood about all these things. Now in the next class we are going to learn about the different cells or cell organelles of the cell and other parts of the cell. Thank you. Have a nice day.